Hey everyone, Luke Lore here, the Insipid Ghost, and this is the 500th video on this channel, and it's one I'm making with a smile on my face. Of course, as Xbox has begun transitioning to more platforms, it's only made sense for our coverage to expand to other places, more devices that are capable of playing Xbox. So, here we are. This has had me incredibly excited to check out things like VR, as Xbox was already on the Quest 3S and Quest 3 because of cloud gaming, but then of course they released that branded version. That thing looks so pretty. Oh, goodness gracious. But it still has me excited. And one of the places that I love playing games is in VR. Now, VR is in a unique place right now because of late, seemingly so, the PSVR2 is winding down despite it being great tech, all things considered. But the Quest, that appears to be going strong and has platform exclusives like Arkham Shadow, which I absolutely love, was my game of the year it came out. Recently, of course, the Xbox VR headset is a big deal. You've got other great VR titles like Behemoth and Zombie Army VR and Metro Awakening, all of which are fantastic and offer this AAA-like experience for gamers to immerse themselves in. So I really did fall in love with that platform, and I'm hopeful that more people check it out. Now, a cool part of this is that while at Summer Game Fest this past year, I got my hands on two VR games that I absolutely loved, both of which were a surprise and both of which gave me some really intense moments of happiness and joy while playing. First up, though, I want to talk about Reach. Now, this is from developer inDreams, whose names you'll probably know from games like Synapse or Ghostbusters Rise of the Ghost Lord, maybe Fracked, or even Far Cry VR. Walking up to this booth, though, was really cool for me because I didn't have an appointment. I just kind of saw them, and like every other booth at SGF, in the central hub where they were located, inDreams was set up. They had a TV, they had a couch with maybe a little more space to move about because it was a VR title. But what was so cool about it was that every time, no matter who was checking out this demo, at any given point, there were a minimum of 4 developers from inDreams surrounding the player, watching the TV, offering hints, taking notes, laughing alongside everybody that came over to check it out, and in general, just engaging in conversation. Of course, my curious self, seeing a VR title that looked as good as it is, and again, loving all the VR games that I do, I walked over and just checked out what was going on, and it was just immediate good vibes, all things considered. On the screen, I was watching the player traverse all sorts of platforming obstacles, which can be a tricky thing to do in VR, but it's something that when it's done right, it really feels fantastic. I was chatting about this with developers prior to my session, and I noted the observation that Reach really does look like a really fun climbing game. And out of nowhere, I was immediately corrected by industry legend Shuhei Yoshida, who seemed to pop up out of nowhere. And he said with emphasis, "No, in Reach you are an action hero where every moment is thrilling and legendary." And I was like, oh my god, I got scolded by Shuhei Yoshida. This is awesome. So that was the first thing that I kind of like took away here, was like, oh, this is way more than just a climbing game. The second thing I noted was that after playing it, I was in absolute agreement with Shuhei Yoshida, because once I put this headset on, they were showcasing on a Quest 3, by the way, even though the game is coming to PSVR 2, Quest 3, Steam VR, that kind of stuff, but it was immediately evident that everything inDreams has done was the culmination of all their work. This was their A game, because moving around and platforming felt precise and it felt awesome. You'd go about the world, you'd make different jumps, and it's different, lengths of the jumps and depths of the jumps. You'd grab ledges, which felt really good, and moving about was really intuitive. Again, I think the best VR is the VR you don't have to think about. So anyone with moderate experience that's using smooth motion like myself, if I'm not having to think about it, I'm having a good time. And after playing Arkham Shadow, which had really good second nature type movement where it just felt like you were doing what you were supposed to do, Reach was even better than that. So if you're familiar with Arkham Shadow and you are interested in Reach, Reach feels better, which is a really big compliment, I think. Now, it's not just about climbing, because the ante was upped once I gained access pretty early on in the demo to this like mystical bow and arrow. You get it, and in the demo, you've only got 1 or 2 ammo types rather, but in the like full trailer that you guys are watching, because this is B-roll, there's more ammo types. You can freeze enemies and stuff like that. But immediately I started moving around and trying to headshot every single enemy, and I was nailing it, and I felt really cool because I could hear the people cheering me on and stuff. And then, it felt cool because it's a vertical slice demo kind of thing, but it felt intuitive. It felt good. It felt like a bow and arrow should feel in VR. And each of the ammo types you have just help you through different challenges. So I played around with this during the demo as well. If I saw a glass bottle, I was the guy shooting it. I was popping it out of nowhere. If I see glass in VR, I gotta break it. I don't know what it is, but I would just pop a bow out of my quiver, feel the tension or whatever in game, and then pop it out, and little vibration, just boom, pop it out every single time, taking out these little glass bottles for no reason, just because I really enjoyed the shooting and the combat. It was great. One of the scenes though, which was strange because it really like changed the tone. You had to move stealthily through this room. And so I was moving real stealthily. I'd pop up, arrow to the head, pop back down. And I felt like this elite agent moving through the world, which was really cool because once I was discovered, which felt like it was a scripted discovery, like I was supposed to be discovered, things hit the fan because this helicopter started like chasing me down and shooting at me through the building, and I had to start running and leaping, and I'd have to take out enemies along the way, but I was being chased through these buildings in this cityscape by a helicopter that was just mowing bullets through everything, and it was all falling apart around me. And it was one of the coolest action sequences I've ever played, whether it's in 2D or 3D, VR, whatever you want to say. Like, it was just one of the coolest action experiences I've ever had. If I had B-roll of that specific thing, I would show it to you guys. But it was amazing. The building around me was falling apart. I was running, I was leaping, I was climbing, I was catching and clawing my way around, narrowly avoiding these bullets. And I could see that as things were starting to get stressful, I could tell like my life was starting to come to an end. I was like, oh gosh, like no matter what I do here, I'm not going to survive. But I see like this window out there, so I sprint towards it, I run, I jump, I smash through it, and oh my gosh, did I feel like an elite agent from any of the coolest elite agent movies you've ever seen. Because I leapt through this window, smashed through it, almost landed, and then caught myself on the window out from underneath. And then right about there, the demo appropriately scriptedly ended, and I had to jump off a building. And I laughed out loud when I saw it. I don't want to spoil what it was for you guys, but like you have to jump off this building, and where you land, I just started grinning ear to ear. Such a great demo. So I've got to tell you guys, Reach is one of those games that like day one, when it gets to Quest 3, 3S, PSVR2, Steam VR, I'll be snagging it on my Quest. I'm getting this day one because I was smiling ear to ear. I was having a blast. And Shuhei Yoshida was right. It is you are playing an action hero in the coolest sense. So that was my first surprise from SGF in the VR space. But the next day, I got to check out one of the other announced games that really had me surprised as well, which was Deadpool VR. And this trailer showcased during Summer Game Fest. I had no idea what it was going to be. It's from developer Twisted Pixel. And you probably know them from Splosion Man or Comic Jump. They have a long history, really, of kind of stretching whatever medium they work in. They even had one of the old OG Connect's coolest games back in the day of Gunstringer, which, is a deep cut if anybody knows it. But my point is, Twisted Pixel has personality. They have charm. They know what they're doing. And they've been working in the VR space for quite a while of late. So to get my hands on Deadpool VR, I was interested. I've enjoyed other superhero games in VR. Of course, I mentioned Arkham Shadow earlier. It's one of my favorite games, bar none. I've enjoyed Iron Man VR, but I didn't finish it. It wasn't quite there for me. But I do love VR and the VR space. So to see Deadpool in there, I was interested, right? Like, how can you not be at this point? And playing on Quest 3, I was immediately impressed here as well, which is, two big wins for VR, I think. Unlike the recent experience in superhero VR with Arkham Shadow, that world was really dark and like gloomy, and the detail was there, but it was meant to be this like foreboding element. Whereas Deadpool is bright and colorful and very comic booky in its experience. And of course, the entire demo is narrated by Deadpool himself, breaking the fourth wall. And you'd be forgiven if you thought it was if you thought it was Ryan Reynolds, right? Because Neil Patrick Harris is doing the voice, and he expertly captures the spirit of Deadpool, the spirit of Reynolds' Deadpool, and has these offensive, fourth wall breaking, deep cut pop culture reference jokes. And there's a self-awareness with Deadpool that's just crass and hilarious, and all of that is intact here in Deadpool VR. And I really loved it because you start off the demo, you have to reattach your own head inside of a lab on the Shield helicarrier. And that's really that's like your, get used to the controls. What kind of controls do you want? Get your weapons together. And you have the standard Deadpool arsenal of like dual swords, dual pistols kind of thing. And then you gather different weapons throughout the demo, which was really fun. And I got to tell you, moving around, the movement felt good. You can move each weapon independently quite comfortably like you could in any VR game, but it felt really nice to dual wield different things. One of the things I like to do was mix and match. I might have, sorry, that's my little puppy over there. Barking in the background, but I like to mix and match. So like I might have the pistol in one hand, a sword in another, or I might have the grapple gun in one hand, sword in another, and like grapple somebody and pull them towards me, yank them on over, and then slice them out of the air with a sword. And it all felt really intuitive. You could also use the grapple gun to swing around the different level, and that was kind of fun for me, like during the demo. And I wish I had B-roll of that, but they didn't provide that either because it was a walk-up demo. I used the kind of the grapple gun and swung around the level and had a machine gun in the other hand. So I was Spider-Maning around in this like mock Spider-Man sense, but blasting enemies out of the level with machine guns and shotguns and throwing grenades. And you felt hilariously awesome while you did it, which was really kind of cool. I did have one like gripe with the demo for Deadpool VR though, is that the sword reach, like you'd swing your sword and you wouldn't quite hit the person. You'd think you could hit them, but like they were just out of range. And then if you missed your swipe, or you missed like swinging to hit them when you think you're gonna hit them, they just shoot you right then and there. You get a hail full of bullets, and that's kind of frustrating. But right after the demo, the devs came right up to me. Hey, what did you think, Luke? Tell me what you thought. Are you comfortable in VR? What's your experience with VR? How did you feel like with this? And one of the things they said was they had gotten feedback about that sword range, and they were working to fix it already. In builds, like they were communicating with the dev team back at the studio, which I thought was really, really cool. Overall, like I really enjoyed Deadpool VR, and it had me like, okay, this is another VR title, day one for me. Recently, I've been playing through Zombie Army VR and just having a blast with that shooting. Deadpool VR's felt even better, right? Playing Alien Rogue Incursion recently, good, decent shooting. Deadpool, bar none, way better, way better. This is like Arizona Sunshine level quality, which I gotta say, if you're a VR person, you know that one. I'm interested to see, or to hear, I guess you would say, more of Neil Patrick Harris voicing Deadpool, because I really did like all the quips and the narration that he was going through. I liked the trademark humor and stuff that was there. But I was also really impressed with the environment of like this Shield helicarrier, because there was cool cameo moments and little Marvel elements, and I wanted to see just what Meta and Marvel Games are going to put together to bring us more in terms of cameos, other heroes. Does this tie into other Marvel universes? Will we see other characters? That kind of thing. So I'm looking forward to that one. I think the easiest way I can say, or the easiest thing I can say about Deadpool VR is that playing Deadpool VR felt like being Deadpool. In the same way that Arkham Shadow felt like being Batman, and Iron Man VR was close with being Iron Man, like, you feel like Deadpool in this game. And so that's to me, the highest compliment you can get. And so I can confidently say, without a doubt, I'm looking forward to Deadpool VR's release as well. Now, unlike Reach, which is coming to multiple VR platforms, right now Deadpool VR is a Quest exclusive. You get it on Quest 3, Quest 3S, and for me, it's a day one as well. So look forward to that one. Guys, that's going to be it for me. 500th video for XEP YouTube channel. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please consider subscribing, dropping a like, supporting XEP as we keep kind of expanding our coverage into Xbox adjacent hardware. That is going to be it for me. Have a fantastic rest of your day. Take care.